Good morning. Happy Thursday, almost Friday. Welcome to our Texas Children in Nature Austin Collaborative. Sorry, 8:30 is real early for a meeting, so apologies, everyone. I will say Anne is running about 10 minutes late. She was going to lead us through our morning activity, but she has sent it to me. So I'm going to do my best to share what she was hoping to have us do. Give me just a minute. Let me look at my message. So she was going to have us write a haiku and share it. Syllable structure is 5-7-5 for those that don't remember what haikus are. And I asked if she wanted us to do it about anything in particular. I haven't heard back. My guess is nature related. So let's do a nature-based haiku. We'll give folks a few minutes to think about what inspires them. And if you finish, you are welcome to share it in the chat. Otherwise, we will come off mute and share with each other a nature-related haiku. Again, syllable structure 5-7-5. So take a few minutes.
And I just put the syllable structure in the chat in case y'all, I like having things written down. So. Welcome, folks. As you're joining us, we're doing our kind of first activity of the morning. We are writing a nature haiku. And so for that, just in case you don't remember, the syllable structure is 5-7-5. And if once you've finished, if you'd like to put it in the chat, you're more than welcome to, or you can come off mute and share your haiku. But we're just taking a few minutes to do that together. Welcome, everyone. If you're just joining us, we are writing a nature haiku together at the moment. If you don't remember, that's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. If you can think back to your high school English classes. So we'll be doing that for the next few minutes.
And we've got a few coming in to the chat. So I'm gonna read a couple because these are really fun. So Kaylee says, lovely day outside, sun is shining brightly now. Should I call in sick? I like that one a lot. And then we've got a couple. Sarah, how do you enter in the chat so it doesn't post it, but you can start a new line? Is that control or shift enter?
Sure. I don't know.
I don't remember. I always do it and it's like one line at a time.
Because we've got some coming in different way, like in between, those could make some interesting haikus together.
Match together. I don't know if you've heard on NPR, there's a guy, Kwame, who does poetry stuff sometimes, and he'll have people send in, whatever poems and things, and he'll mash them all up together and present this like large collective poem. Those are always really fun. Okay, let's read a couple more of these. So Laura says, Girl Scout camp, first time, trying out things with my friends. Should I never leave? I like that. Let's see. Oh, Kaylee says she put hers in a Word document and then just copy pasted. So that's one way to get around the chat.
It's shift enter.
Shift enter. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Shift enter. Let's see. The sky shifts to blue, traces of wind, tails ride through, fading to stars bright. I like that a lot. Sunset on green pines, yaupon berries on stark branch. Winter has arrived. I take a long walk, feel the gravel crunch below. Inhale, exhale, joy. These are always so fun. Let me scroll up a little bit. I like it outside, quiet, loud, peaceful, busy. Can I go there now? Breezy trees moving, pollen swirling all around, snuggled and cozy. Misty, cool, and inviting. Paddles await motion soon. Challenge accepted. Sunlight in the trees, a warmer day beckons me for a greenbelt hike. I hope I'm doing these justice as I read them aloud. All right, beautiful sunrise makes up for COVID sick day, loving the crisp cold.
Kathleen states that you have a great haiku voice.
Thanks, Kathleen. It's all about the pauses, I think.
You have a side career in NPR waiting for you.
That's right. Because I love having people hear me talk. Maria, I'm trying to look for the rest of yours. Let me scroll up.
Oh, she put the whole thing at the bottom.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. There we go. Crisp air, rosy cheeks, steamy breath looks so cool. Bright blue skies, winter dreams. I think I got them all.
Did you read Cindy's misty, cool, and inviting? Paddles await motion soon. Challenge accepted. Okay.
I did,
Sorry.
yeah.
I've been trying to keep track of folks entering the room too. So.
I know, it's tricky. Oh, yeah, another one. Crispy grass below my feet. Oh, how the frozen grass feels below my feet. Cold cheeks, sunny sky above. Thank you, Rosalie. Okay, I think we'll give folks one more minute if they want to. And you're welcome to come off mute. I do not have to be the only one saying these.
Maybe we need to put together a nice Austin collaborative book of poetry.
Yeah, that's what Laura just said. Love it. We need to pair it with that guy that wrote the book about the lost words.
Yeah.
All right, team. I think that'll wrap us up for this morning. Thank you very much for sharing and for spending some peaceful time reflecting on nature in haiku format. We have a partner presentation today from Austin Sunshine Camps that we're excited to hear about. After we hear from Erica, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Tri-Chair nominations is the word I'm looking for, tri-tier nominations, and walk through the election of those folks, and then go over some of what we did at the summit for those that weren't able to join us at the TCINN summit, and then spend the last little bit just for partner share ops. So if you have, I know we have lots of job postings right now that you want to share with the group, new programs since it's, you know, start of the new year, etc. We'll spend a little bit of time at the end of our day sharing those out. So Erica, I'm gonna pass it on over to you.
All right, thanks, Melody. Can you guys shake your head for me if you can hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you. That was really fun. You guys are so smart and so creative. I felt like I got my morning meditation in through that, so thank you all. I'm gonna try and share my screen. Let's see if this works. I've never done a presentation through Canva, so I'm gonna try that for the first time today.
It looks like it's working.
Awesome. All right. Very good. Well, my name is Erica Blue. I am the CEO of Austin Sunshine Camps, and just want to say thank you to Sarah and the rest of the group for giving me some time to talk about Austin Sunshine Camps and what we do, tell you a little bit about our hopes and dreams for the future, and maybe some ways that you can get involved if it's something that sounds really exciting to you. But before we go there, I want to ask everybody if you yourself got the opportunity to go to overnight summer camp as a kid, and if you did and you had an amazing experience, to post in the chat real quick, give some shout outs to your summer camp. Rocky River, yes, no, hey Tammy. Church camp. Oh, whoa, way to go, Laura, lots of camps. Oh, lots of people got to go to camp, awesome. Very good. Well, you know, as you think about Austin Sunshine Camps, and as I present to you, I hope you can kind of remember fondly in your own mind the camp that you got to go to and think about what that did for you and how it changed your life. I myself, excuse me, got an opportunity to go to one overnight summer camp as a kid. My parents couldn't afford to send me to camp, but I had a really great friend named Kendi, whose parents paid my way to go to a week-long summer camp. And it literally changed my life. It's hard for me to kind of put into words how that happened, but I tell people, excuse me, I tell people that it was like being plucked from a tiny carnival fishbowl and dropped into the ocean. You know, it really just opened up my worldview and helped me understand that there was a lot out there beyond where I lived and how I was growing up. And so I, as you can imagine, feel very passionate about being able to give a very similar opportunity to the kids in our community through Austin Sunshine Camps. Okay, let's see if I can make this work. Okay. Good. Thank you all for sharing about your camp. I can't wait to read more about those too. So the mission at Austin Sunshine Camps is to provide the magic of overnight camp without the barrier of cost. We use the word magic really intentionally in our mission because not only does the research tell us that overnight camp can be literally life-changing, it can help kids build self-confidence, learn to try new things, appreciate people for their differences. But for us, it's really, it's the only word we could come up with that that tried to capture what we see happen every single summer when you're able to spend time with folks you've never met and with counselors that you really look up to, doing things outside and trying things for the first time and making new friends and watching people's sort of walls come down in a way that it's really hard to make happen in other areas of our life, like school or sports or any other extracurricular activities. There's just something really magical and special and unique about an overnight camp experience. Austin Sunshine Camps has actually been around since 1928. So this is our 94th year of providing overnight summer camp. We have two locations, one in the middle of Zilker Park, which was our first location. Austin Sunshine Camps was created the same year that Zilker Park opened, and we've been in the same spot in Zilker Park off of Andrew Zilker Road since 1928. Since then, we've provided the opportunity for about 55,000 kids to go to overnight camp. We also have a second location that was built in the 80s in Marble Falls on the shores of Lake Travis. Our vision is that we envision a world where all children have a place to grow, connect, and explore. And the words grow, connect, and explore are purposely put into our mission because they sort of summarize what we measure at Austin Sunshine Camps and the outcomes that we're trying to achieve. The problem that we're trying to solve at Austin Sunshine Camps is that overnight camp, as I've already said, can be really life-changing. But in Central Texas, the average cost of a 10-day overnight camp is about $1,700. For the kids that we serve, who are 8 to 15 years old and either qualify for the free reduced lunch program or are in foster care, their families simply cannot afford an experience that is up to $1,700 and oftentimes quite a lot more money. About 70% of the families we serve are making $30,000 a year or less. I mean, so as you can imagine, our folks are not able to do things like overnight camp at a cost like $1,700. So what Austin Sunshine Camps does is provide that 10-day, 9-night opportunity in the summertime completely free to our families. So our kids come, we serve about 500 kids a summer at both camps. They come for 10 days and 9 nights, and it is free to their family so long as they either qualify for free reduced lunch or are in the foster care system. And on a typical summer, 95 to 99% of our kids meet those qualifications. We reserve about 5% of our spots for our staff's children, as well as for some of our camper alumni's kids who may not qualify anymore. At summer camp, we do all kinds of activities, as you can imagine, swimming, canoeing. We have a ropes course both in Zilker Park as well as on our Lake Travis property, archery, arts and crafts, you name it, we're having fun doing it. Each night we have a big night event that could look like a carnival night or some sort of talent show. Lots of fun outside and a little bit of fun inside as well during summer camp each year. And then during the school year, what we do is we invite all of those summer campers back to camp with their families. So everything we do during the school year is all family-based in an effort to reinforce all of the things that we've learned together during the summertime with our families during the school year. So that could look like an overnight weekend camp with the family, or it could look like a day camp like we have coming up during MLK Day on January 17th. And we will invite mom, dad, aunt, uncle, whoever your caregiver is, all of your siblings. We'll put all of you up on the ropes course. We'll spend the night and play games. We really just want the family unit to get the opportunity to experience what their summer camper gets to experience during the summertime. And the idea there, beyond just reaching out into the family, is really creating a deeper impact with those kids. So, you know, a perfect scenario for Austin Sunshine Camps looks like you come to summer camp when you're 8 years old and you stay with us until you hopefully become a counselor and then eventually off to become a community leader. So we really want to have as deep of an impact as the family and the camper are excited about throughout all of their years as a youth. And then once you get 15, once you turn 15 and you sort of age out of summer camp, we have a counselor and training program for our 15 to 18-year-olds. That program is all year long. So during our summer camp, as well as during our family-based programming, our CITs are employed by us and work those events for us. Of course, in the summertime, they are alongside camp counselors who are 18 and older, sort of helping them out. But during the family-based programming throughout the school year, they really are alongside our full-time staff, sort of being the counselor, if you will. So it's a lot of great professional development. It's really great for the campers who just love camp or who think maybe they want to grow up to be a teacher or work in social work. So they really get to have that hands-on experience, the behind-the-scenes logistics, learning how it all works, getting to work directly with kids and families. And see if hopefully when they turn 18, they're interested in becoming a counselor with us. So we started that CIT program back in 2018, and this past summer was the first summer that we actually had 6 CITs become counselors for our summer camp, for our summer campers. And that is really exciting for us because the typical summer camp counselor does not typically come from the backgrounds that our campers come from. And so being able to provide an opportunity for our campers to have counselors who have been in their shoes and experienced the same things they've experienced, grown up in the same area, grown up under the same situations, was really, really powerful. Those of you who went to summer camp probably can relate to the fact that no matter who your counselor is, you already admire him the day you show up to camp. And so it's really wonderful for us to be able to put somebody in front of our campers who looks like them and has experienced the same things they have. I purposely, and for the first time, am getting to present that little logo in the bottom right hand side of your screen, which we are super proud of. So in November of 2021, we officially became an American Camp Association accredited camp, which is a long time coming for Austin Sunshine Camps. And a really big deal for us because there are just not many camps in the country that do what we do for the population that we purposely serve. There are free camps in the country who serve kids that really are deserving of it, but not many free camps in the country who serve kids who just simply can't afford to go to summer camp or who are in foster care, especially not a 10-day, 9-night experience like Austin Sunshine Camps. And so for us to kind of take it to the next level and become accredited, we're really proud of being able to meet all those standards and give our kids same quality camp that those kids whose parents can afford to pay $1,700 get to go to. And then when we are not providing that free programming, we rent out our space in Zilker Park, our Zilker Lodge, as a source of earned revenue. I know a lot of you have been there before, but if you haven't been there, I encourage you to come to the Zilker Lodge. It is right off of Andrew Zilker Road in between the Hillside Theater and the disc golf course, about a 5-minute walk from Barton Springs. It's a 21,000 square foot building that has 150 beds and 30 showers. Let's see, you can't see it in this picture, but on the right-hand side, there's a really wonderful covered pavilion with an outdoor stage area. So it's a really great place to hold events, especially during this time where we're all sort of being cautious about being indoors together. We have a lot of great outdoor space, and all of the profits earned from those rentals go to help us send more kids to camp. And so I put a little slide on here about ways that you can get involved or things you can do to help support us. One is volunteer. We have over 700 volunteers come to Austin Sunshine Camps throughout any given year, including individuals, families, group volunteer opportunities. We'll customize volunteering, or you can slide right into one of our existing events, but it's a fun way to get outside, to get connected with campers, and to really help out. You can rent the Zilker Lodge for your next retreat or meeting or birthday or wedding, any kind of event you can come up with, we do it. And again, all the profits go to help us serve more kids. And then I did want to take a moment to talk to you about 2 big dreams I have, because you can help me spread the word about those dreams. So, you know, I've been here since January of 2018, and we've really spent that time trying to get our own stuff together to earn that ACA accreditation, to make sure that we're providing a really awesome camp for the campers that we currently serve. And I feel really excited about where our staff is and where our financials are. And now I feel like it's the perfect time to kind of take this to the next level. And so I have two big dreams. My first dream is to create an opportunity for kids who can't afford to go to a typical outdoor school in our area to be able to come do an opportunity like that at Austin Sunshine Camps. So if you don't know what I'm talking about when I use the term outdoor school, it's pretty common in the camping world, but basically an extended field trip, if you will, with a school group. So it may be your 5th grade group, 6th grade group, a group within a school system who gets to go away to a camp for usually 3 days and 2 nights. It might be 2 days and 1 night, but typically the parent or the school will pay for that opportunity. And as far as I know, there's only one other organization in the state of Texas that provides free outdoor school opportunities for schools and kids who can't afford that. That is the H.E. Butts Foundation, who's awesome, but also has a really great source of income, as you can imagine. And so I am excited about finding future funding to be able to provide that kind of opportunity for the schools and the kids in our area who can't afford to pay for one. We're right in the middle of the city. It's literally a 5-minute drive at the most to downtown. So transportation would be much easier than going way out to some of the camps that are more remote. Like I said, we have 150 beds and 30 showers, and I think it would just be an awesome opportunity for AISD as well as other school districts in our area to be able to provide that to the kids who are at Title I schools or have a high percentage of kids qualifying for free or reduced lunch. And then the second dream I have is to take the show on the road. So like I said earlier, there are just not many camps in the country doing what Sunshine Camps does for the population that we serve. And I would really love to create Sunshine Camps in other cities and other areas where the need is there for kids who can't pay. So in Central Texas, in our 5 surrounding counties, you all know better than anybody else, I think there's about 45,000 kids that qualify for Austin Sunshine Camps. And we have 500 spots a summer right now. So I'd love to be able to create more beds and more opportunities for the kids that we serve to be able to have an overnight camp experience. Look at my cheat sheet here. Yeah, one note I had to myself on this slide is to just make sure I say out loud that I am not about recreating the wheel and I love collaboration. So if in any of these dreams, you feel like there's somebody already doing something similar or somebody who would like to partner up to try and create an opportunity for an outdoor school or to take Sunshine Camps in new cities, I would love to meet them and would love to be introduced to them. I put my email address over here on the right. So please feel free to email me directly and let me know your ideas and thoughts around that. I'm going to pause there and ask if you guys have any questions.
Thank you so much, Erica. We already have one in the chat. So as more come in, I'll start with this one. So Tammy asked, does the Zilker Lodge have tables included with a rental?
Hi, Tammy. Can't see your face, but I haven't seen you in a long time. Yes, the lodge has tables and chairs. You can go to zilkerlodge.com. That is the website for the lodge, and there are more details there. And our event sales manager, Michelle Connor, is an amazing human being and will make sure that your next event is awesome. But yes, we have tables and chairs.
Is there a pricing guide online, or do we have to talk to a human being to find out what prices are for amenities? I'm on the website right now. I just don't see one.
Yeah, I don't think our pricing is online, but it is not a secret. So I'm happy to share that with you. If you want to put your email address in the chat or chat to me directly, I'll be sure to share pricing with you directly.
We have a few great recommendations of using Zilker Lodge for events. Lots of folks have had events there and have loved it. I don't see any other questions in the chat. If you all want to take yourselves off mute and share a question, please do so.
I have a quick question just regarding the space, the Zilker Lodge and renting it. Is that something where we can bring in our own catering and that sort of thing for the event and tables, basically outfit it, but you have the space?
Yeah, sorry, I can't see who's talking, so I'm not
I'm
sure.
sorry, this is Maria Fowler.
Hi, okay.
Hi, thank you.
Yes, so we have tables and chairs, like I said, but you do, that basically we don't provide services like catering. So we do have a full commercial kitchen, caterers love it. You can bring in catering. Our staff can help you find caterers if you are looking for suggestions. As far as alcohol goes, you can either self-serve alcohol or you can hire somebody who's TABC certified to serve alcohol at your event. But there's no dream that hasn't been accomplished at the lodge. It's a cool space to be able to turn into all kinds of things. This past year, we literally had 4 weddings, which was so cool to watch them transform the space. And some of them had their families stay overnight all weekend long, and some just had a wedding, and left that same day. But yeah, that's what it's like as far as catering goes. You can also cook. I should have said that. You can use the kitchen and cook yourself. Some people have brought in chefs to cook for their event. All of the above.
Super, thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks.
Erica. Hi, it's Tammy.
Hi.
Good to see you. Hi. So I'm wondering, as I'm thinking about my hometown of the Philadelphia area, what kinds of, I have so many people there that are outdoor enthusiasts and work with children, are teachers. And I can see, I know how excited they were when I was starting what I'm doing. So I'm just thinking about how I could maybe connect to you, but I don't know exactly, none of them would have a facility like the Zilker Lodge in order to be able to put something like this together. But I know that there are people that would really love to get involved in the idea behind it. So I'm just sort of trying to think in my own mind, are you looking more to collaborate with other organizations that maybe already have a space that they could use to create this in other cities?
Great questions. I don't have the answers to all those yet. So we're just now completing our 5-year strategic plan. And in that plan, the goal for the end of 2022 is to have a committee put together to answer all those questions and to start researching. But I think just knowing now that you have connections in Philly is something that I'll keep in my head and be able to hopefully reach out once we kind of get things more together. But thank you for thinking about that and asking. I wish I had more answers, but I'm also, one of those people that believes if you keep putting it out into the universe, things will start aligning. So that's what I'm doing today.
Cool. No, that's great. We did a 4th grade camping trip as part of our school, just like you were saying, to a place called French Creek. And so they do have cabins at French Creek. And so I know that that's, a space that is available, but it's not, I think it's owned by the county or something like that. But yeah. Okay, cool. No, I would love to talk more about that as you're developing that plan, because we have so many kids, again, in the Philadelphia area that really would benefit from such a place.
Thanks, Tammy.
Hey, Erica.
Oh, go ahead, Tanya. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm Tanya Walker. I'm actually the founder and creator of Black Women Who Kayak Plus. And this is my first meeting with this organization. So I'm actually excited that I got to meet you and you, tell us about Sunshine Camp, because I am definitely relatable to what your experience was as far as being plucked out of your environment and put in that big ocean. So I definitely want to connect with you and actually see how my organization can help, and also be able to even target other, other kiddos and stuff, because I want to know like what type of schools or what schools you guys target, and then also like communities as far as going into the inner city youth communities. And, is it just geared towards the school district, or is it actually going into the communities to do some type of pop-ups or community work and stuff like that? And I mean, there's just so many questions that I have, but I definitely would love your information so we can, collaborate and see how we can even make this bigger. So any way that I could help with my organization as well, I would love to.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tanya. It's great to meet you. Thank you for what you do. And I think we have a lot to talk about. I put my email address again in the chat here. So
Awesome.
I'll love for you to email me, and we'll definitely connect and figure out some ways to work together.
That sounds great, Erica. Thank you so much for what you're doing, hon.
Thank you.
Erica, we've got a question in the chat from Kathy. She says, maybe Erica can talk about their partnerships that have been so important to their outreach and fundraising.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy. Kathy, I know you know Austin Sunshine Camp. So are you specifically talking about our partnership with YMBL, or are you just talking about, generally speaking, talk about kind of how we fundraise?
Yeah, I know YMBL and how how others might start to think about forming, those kinds of aligned partnerships. I just, it's a huge part of how you guys operate. And I think there's some big lessons there for others that, don't have to try to do it alone. Like, where can you find these symbiotic relationships?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. Typically, when I present for 20 minutes, I don't go into the YMBL journey because it's so much information, but I'm super glad you asked about it, because I truly think that our partnership with the Young Men's Business League, YMBL, is what has kept our organization sustainable for 94 years. So the Young Men's Business League actually founded Austin Sunshine Camps in 1928. I'll spare you the details, but it had to do with tuberculosis, which is just really timely and interesting to think about today as we're going through COVID. And over, for the first 80 years, YMBL kind of ran the camps without any staff. For the past 25 years or so, things have obviously changed. And today what that looks like is they make up the vast majority of our board of directors. So they are young men ages 25 to 45, have an affinity for giving back to the community, typically have an affinity for things like camp or outdoor, rec and education. So they make up the vast majority of our board of directors. They also are our largest fundraising group. So the Young Men's Business League holds a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign every year. Last year raised about $435,000 through that. There's about 200 members, just to give you some indication of how much they raise each. And then they also are our largest volunteer pool right now. So our two organizations are so closely meshed that in order to be a member of the Young Men's Business League, it is a requirement that you fundraise at least $500 a year and that you volunteer at least 3 times a summer at Austin Sunshine Camps. And so I think what Kathy's alluding to is that their sole philanthropic arm is Austin Sunshine Camps. And a lot of our staff time and energy is spent on making sure that their organization is also strong and thriving, because one does not work without the other. And, that's something that I think we're really purposefully thinking about in the next, few years in our strategic plan. What about that partnership is sort of the secret sauce that keeps the sustainability piece going for both organizations, and how do we recreate that in a new city? I've been in the nonprofit space for the past 20 years, and I've never been in an organization where the board works like this and where there's one organization philanthropically focused on the other organization. And I can tell you that the few headaches we have are nothing in comparison to some of the other situations I've been in at other nonprofits. So all that to say, it really, really works in a lot of ways that I don't have enough time to talk about today. And is something that we are definitely not going to go to a new city without some similar structure in place. Happy to talk about happy to talk to you offline about any of that too. If your organization is thinking about doing something similar or how it works with YMBL and ASC, please reach out, because I do truly love talking about it, because I'm all about sustainability and don't like to recreate the wheel, like I already said. And this is something that I think will allow ASC and YMBL to live on for another 94 years, long after we're all gone.
Thanks, Erica. It looks like Cindy's got a question.
Thanks, Susan. Hey, y'all, I'm on phone today because my computer's acting up. So I'm Cindy Clemmer. I'm the manager for the Public Gardens Unit in the Parks Department, and I oversee the Zilker Botanical Garden in particular and Mayfield Cottage. I had more of a quick comment, and the person who was talking about opportunities in Philadelphia kind of sparked it, but it could be anywhere in the country. As you're talking through this, I've heard of outdoor camps before. I used to work in North Carolina, and the typical thing there was many schools would go to the Outer Banks for an extended field trip. I didn't know the name outdoor school at the time. And I thought it was really cool. I had never heard of that before. But my background is in nonprofits, and in particular in public gardens. And I've worked at a few gardens over the years where we would have an overnight camp for local families, nothing along these lines. And that was a stretch for our staffing capacity. But it was a really neat thing to be able to do. And so, and I happen to know, because I was in Philadelphia for a few years, it's one of the densest areas in the country for public gardens, in part because of the heritage of the DuPont family. But there's many public gardens out there. And I think there's a number of places that would be interested in hosting camps. They're limited by the staffing capacity. So when you say there's no places in Philadelphia, I think there are. They have the place, but not the staff and the capacity in the program. And so if you'd be interested, Tammy, I think I've been struck a number of times at how many parallels there are between the public garden field that I worked in for 30 years and now the Parks and Rec field that I've been in just for a few years here. They operate very much in parallel, but there's fairly little overlap, except where there's gardens that are in the municipal system like Zilker is. And so I think it might be an interesting thing to have a session at their conference that kind of promotes it as just an opportunity, because I think there's a lot of places out there that would be interested in hosting a camp if there was a organization like Sunshine Camp that could come in and provide the staffing and programming. They have the place and can host. So it's kind of a random thought, and it's a big thought. The American Public Gardens Association would be the conference, and it's already set for this summer. So it would be thinking ahead to 2023. But if you or other people from other Sunshine Camps have any interest in that, I'd be happy to help pull together a conference session proposal next year for the summer 2023 conference.
Thank you, Cindy. That's awesome. I'm writing all this down.
Yeah, I think it could be fun. You know, sometimes you have the place, but not the staff and the programming. Sometimes you have the staff and programming, but not the place, but both exist.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and thanks for your presentation. It was really interesting. I didn't know all the ins and outs of Sunshine Camps.
Thank you.
Well, I think we have time for one last question, if anyone has one. Don't see any in the chat. Oh, Cindy, you got your hand up again.
Sorry, I was trying to put it down.
I can do that for you.
Thank you.
Oh, Erica, we've got another request for your email in the chat.
I'm on it.
Okay, well, I am going to move us on to our next section of our meeting, which is to talk about our tri-chair nominations. So thank you everyone who put in nominations over the last few weeks since our last meeting. We have 3 folks that have been nominated for tri-chair. That is conveniently the number that we need. But we still want to have an election, just so if any of you are like, I don't know if I want that person, you have the chance to let us know. But what I want to do first, before we do our elections, is give our 3 tri-chair nominees a chance to introduce themselves, tell you a little bit about themselves. And so I am going to start with Jennifer.
Okay, I get to go first. Yay. I apologize. My voice is a mess, even though I'm fully Moderna vaccinated and got my booster in November. My husband gave me COVID for Christmas. So I'm still recovering from that. They gave me a new medication that's helping with a lot of the symptoms. Turns out I'm allergic to it because I've broken out into hives, but hives are better than not being able to breathe. So I'm just dealing with it. Anyway, so I am Jennifer Boley. I run an organization called Nature and Eclectic Outdoors. Most people know us as NEO. We have all of the equipment, expertise, certifications to teach absolutely anything you could possibly want to do outdoors. Our mission is to help people of all ages and backgrounds lead more outdoor-oriented lives for better health, well-being, and resilience. So we do the adventure stuff, like we have a portable archery range and a fleet of kayaks and mountain bikes and geocaching equipment, tents, backpacking equipment, all of that stuff. But once again, we will do anything to get people outdoors. So we actually have taught outdoor crafting classes. We'll teach you how to knit a scarf if you'll go do it under a tree. We teach an outdoor gourmet cooking class. We do a lot of gardening initiatives, especially with underserved communities. I do a lot of work in Houston. In Houston, we discover, so typically we take people out of their communities and out into state parks and that sort of thing, right? Well, we also host weekly events in Houston that are just open to the public. Anybody can come. It's held in a local park within city limits. And we discovered we'd show up on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in a beautiful park, and we'd be the only people there. And especially when we were in communities that we knew had all kinds of disparities, health disparities, economic disparities, all of that, we saw this as a big issue that people were not utilizing their free public spaces as a resource to combat some of those disparities. So we launched the Healthy Outdoor Communities Initiative. And that initiative was doing deep dives into these communities to find out why people weren't using their parks. And these communities are primarily brown and black. We got a lot of great, great or not so great, honest answers like, we don't feel like we can go into our park without somebody calling the police on us, or yeah, this is our community, which is primarily Black and brown. But for instance, a lot of these parks are connected through hike and bike trails and stuff, and it's people from outside the community that utilize these spaces. So the community members themselves don't feel as comfortable in the space. They don't feel like it's theirs. There were also things like, I tried to walk on the hike and bike trail after work and my feet were killing me. I never want to do it again. Or I never learned how to ride a bike. So it was all kinds of things like working on fighting, working toward social justice issues was part of it, advocacy to remove barriers from outdoor spaces in these areas. It was also stuff as simple as teaching people how to pick a pair of hiking shoes so that they're not trying to walk on a hike and bike trail in the work flats that they wear to work. Teaching people how to ride a bike, how to adjust their bike seats and handlebars and everything so that it's comfortable for them. Anyway, we were combating these barriers in all kinds of ways. We now do a lot of work that's guided by the Prevention Institute, and we use their Thrive Factor framework to try to help with these barriers to outdoor and nature equity in these communities. There's a lot behind it, but I'm bringing all of that up to say that a lot of these same principles that we're utilizing in urban neighborhoods in Houston can also be applied to areas in Austin. And so that's something that I'm just in the beginning of diving into here. We have done a lot of work directly with schools. We can bring our portable archery range out to schools, and we've done events like that. We do environmental education. I'm a Project Wild facilitator. We also host field trips where we take the kids out to all kinds of places. And we actually are what the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department partially based their campus camping program off of. Because we discovered that in these communities, they had huge barriers to being able to go out and camp and really enjoy wild spaces. There were all kinds of fear factors. What if my kids hate it? What if there's an emergency and I have to leave in the middle of the night? I don't have a car that I can rely on to drive 10 miles. How am I going to go to a state park that's an hour away? Plus, how often would I even be able to do that? I work 3 jobs. When am I going to have time to take my kids out camping on the weekends? So we launched Camping on Campus as a project where we took away all of those fear factors. We have all of the camping equipment. We would bring it on a school campus and allow all of the families to come out and have a real camping experience. We have above ground fire pits we'd bring out so they could roast hot dogs and make s'mores, and they'd be able to sleep in a tent and tell camp stories and play games and everything that they would get to do if they had actually gone out into a state or national park to go camping. They were able to do in their own neighborhood. And it gets so excited that they would want to take that next step and figure out, okay, how can we put together a real camping event for our families and that sort of thing. At any rate, once again, I say these things just to demonstrate the passion that we have for bringing more people to the outdoors. I personally grew up in a very challenging household, and I tried to be outside just in my yard as much as possible. And I discovered as a child, I really had no use for other human beings or adults. But as an adult, I was able to take a lot of the lessons I learned from my observations of nature and how wildlife and everything was interconnected, and utilize that as a bridge to form healthy human relationships as an adult. I take that into all of the work that I do because I understand that a lot of the kids we work with have challenging situations at home, and helping them develop a bond or some sort of relationship with the outdoors can definitely assist in their resilience and help them transition into adulthood and older adolescence. Anyway, so I'm very passionate about the work. I would love to be a tri-chair. Hopefully that you guys get to know me and can agree.
Thank you very much, Jennifer. And now I'm gonna turn it over to Kevin. Try to get
Thank
him.
you, Sarah. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. And tough to follow Jennifer, and also great to hear what you're about, and especially the nature equity piece. I think we have a lot of potential for partnership there. And so I'm Kevin Lanza. I'm an assistant professor at UT Health, School of Public Health in Austin. In my research, I explore the relations between the environment, physical activity, and social equity through the lens of, I guess, climate equity, in the sense of a particular focus of how extreme heat impacts the physical activity behavior of children, and ways to moderate the effects of heat so children can play safely in hot weather environments such as Austin and other parts of Central Texas and Texas at large. And so I've had the privilege of working with the Parks and Rec Department in Austin, specifically Melody Alcazar, along with Austin Independent School District and Ann Mueller on the Green Schoolyards project, where we at 3 joint use parks in Austin are looking at how the green features, trees, gardens, nature trails, impact temperatures in the school parks, as well as physical activity levels of children during recess, and then how these children's connection to nature relates to their social emotional learning skills, test scores, and school conduct. And so over the last 3 years or so, I've had an opportunity to collaborate with the cities and Cities Connecting Children in Nature Network through their stakeholder meetings. And I just attended my first Texas Children in Nature Network Summit about a month ago. And I will be presenting soon at that the CCN Inside Out conference in May alongside Melody Aksar. And so why am I interested in being a tri-chair? Well, I think I bring a transdisciplinary perspective that's been created from my formal training in both public health and my doctoral training in city and regional planning to this team. And I can bring an evaluation piece in the sense of how can we create evidence for promoting the interaction with between children and nature. And that's a bidirectional interaction, right? So working in environmental health, some folks define environmental health in the sense of the impact of the environment on public health. But I think there's a better definition of that as how does the environment impact health, but then also how do individuals impact the environment? And so how do we have that positive relationship between the two? And so in a tri-chair role, I'd like to support multi-site collaboration and multi-sectoral collaboration. And I've been able to do that for the past couple of years by having a standing weekly meeting with City of Austin, Office of Sustainability, and UT Austin, a nearby institution to UT Health School Public Health Campus. And we also have 6 regional campuses of the UT Health. So it's Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, El Paso, Brownsville, and San Antonio. And what that could allow for is kind of this multi-site research plus practitioner collaboration where we go for some grant monies. And so the currency of my position as a professor is to get awarded research grant funding along with published peer-reviewed manuscripts and other reports. And so by doing this, I hope I can support kind of the mission of the CCCN and do so alongside folks from other backgrounds, because I think that that's a good recipe for success, not having singular perspectives, but multiple perspectives. And so naturally, I think being the Austin region, we can have there's so much more potential to work with these other regions in Texas. And I hope to kind of bridge those distance gaps because of our relationship similar interests. And so, yeah, I'm excited to be here and hope we can work together.
Take myself off mute. Thank you, Kevin. And lastly, we have Ashley.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Jennifer, I hope you feel better soon. Kevin, it's great to see you again. It's great to talk to everyone, but I'm Ashley Chabeli Pettis. I work for the City of Austin, currently coordinating the Youth Forest Council, and that is a year-long paid internship connecting young folks ages 16 to 19 in Austin to careers that support trees in our communities. The Youth Forest Council worked with the Urban Forestry Program and the professionals to plan community activities and grow their own communities to Austin's urban forests and the natural spaces. YFC members participate in lots of things during the year, whether it be planning community events and festivals or designing educational materials to be shared with Austinites, practice leadership by creating projects that support their community, and a plethora of other things. Check us out on the Youth Forest Council. The 2021 cohort just ended, and they did their community action projects that represented a goal of the Urban Forestry Program. They did an amazing job. Check it out on our website, the Youth Forest Council. I'm also a quad chair member or a chair member of the strategy youth leadership in CNN. So I work with Kirsten and Sheridan and Gabby and the Youth Leadership Working Group, which essentially imagines an Austin where young folks can easily access careers in the outdoors and nature and the environment and are fairly compensated for their contributions in that field and gain learning experience and leadership experience in their communities of which they're serving. So with that said, I think I would like to be a part of the tri-chair, to essentially create more connections and, get to speak to you all and kind of understand where you are all in your journey and how we can influence and inspire each other, whether it be through Kevin, through public policy and Urban Heat Island, and Jennifer with all her outdoor activities and educational and environment educational programs, and then even Tanya, welcome Tanya, and in her kayaking experience and her education and her groups. So it's just exciting to be in a group where there are so many facets and so many different ways to learn more about how to interact with youth in Austin and how to interact with the youth outside. Especially me, I can't say I'm new to Austin anymore because I've been here since June. So I'm slowly acclimating to the environment. But I think it'll also help me immensely just to have access to different groups and access to different areas, and being a part of the Austin Tri-Share group will allow me not only to work with you all, but allow me to work with lots of different groups, in San Antonio and Houston, and just allow me to grow my Texas connections immensely. So I'm just super excited just to be here and just to be nominated, and just super humble, and just to recognize that my voice has been heard in this group. So I'm super appreciative of that, and y'all. And I just hope to be a wonderful contributor, and just working with the group to better all of our strategies and our work.
Thank you so much, Ashley. So our next step is I am actually going to put the voting form in the chat. I will also email it out at the end of this meeting. So if you want to do it later, you are more than welcome to do so. But I also wanted to let y'all know who kind of our at-large members are. So with our nominations, we not only had nominations for our tri-chairs, but for a few folks. Oh, the form isn't working. Oh dear. Okay, I will work on that in just a second. So we had a few folks that nominated for at-large positions, and these are folks that are going to be working with the leadership team and also with planning your meetings and so on. And so just if you are one of the people I named, just put yourself on the camera and wave to everyone. So our at-large members are going to be Julia Hill, JC Tosh, Melody Alcazar, Ann Muller, Heather Culkin, and Kathleen Schneeman. So thank you so much for being willing to step up and help out. What I am going to do is, for this, we're going to start our announcements. And with that in mind, well, no, Julia's going to do a summit share out. And while she's doing that, I'm going to try to fix the form and re-put it in the chat.
All right, thanks, Sarah. And thanks to all of our Tri-Chair nominees. How exciting to hear the work y'all are doing and your ideas for how we can collaborate and grow as a network. I'm very proud to be part of this group, I have to say. So a theme that we touched on continually and heard a lot from our Tri-Chair nominations was equity and inclusion. And this was certainly something at the Texas Children in Nature Network Summit last December at the Fort Worth Botanical Gardens. We got to discuss a lot in various ways, but on the final day of the summit, there was a special equity panel with various representatives from Austin and Houston, focusing on the equity work in their cities. And then after their presentations, we met as a group, those folks who represented Austin for their various institutions, met together and had further discussions about how we promote equity in our own work, ways we can improve, tips for other organizations, and how we can do better moving forward in these realms. So we had about 50 people. It was pretty impressive. We had some familiar faces, folks who are on this call today, and a few fresh faces as well. So we've got even more folks on our Texas Children in Nature Network Austin roster, which is always great. But I did want to share a few key highlights from our discussions that I think are worth mentioning and for us to be thinking about as we move forward in our own work for the new year, 2022. So a constant theme was just considering who is telling the story and who or what is being left out of the storytelling. And that inclusive storytelling is a skill that can be built and something that we should all focus on as we're framing our messaging for the public and the groups that we serve. We should also utilize multiple avenues for participation to ensure we have an inclusive space, meaning we can use surveys, written communications, virtual meetings, in-person opportunities, all sorts of ways that folks can feel that their voices are valued and heard and able to participate in their own way, regardless of what their schedules and their home lives may be like. Another constant theme was the idea that decisions made for us without us are not for us. So being certain that we include community members in meetings like the ones that we have today and ones that we'll have in the future, and make sure that we have opportunities to support their participation, whether that's providing transport or childcare, or the grants, like Sarah had grants at the summit for folks who weren't able to afford the registration fees. So just thinking about ways that we could include in our own budgeting ways to be more inclusive and support folks so that they are able to attend. And then last but not least, we talked a lot about funding and how the funding agencies that we're applying to often use outdated language and have priority funding areas that might not be relevant to the work that we're doing now. But as folks who are working with these agencies, we have a voice and we can put this information in the request for information feedback forms that these agencies use. We can be sure to include this information in our proposals using current language, current thinking, and just really encouraging funding agencies to evolve with the times and be advocates for the work that they're funding for us to do in the field. So those are the main share outs. It was a great discussion, very safe space for folks to share ideas and have their voices heard if they had something to share, and something I know we're all hoping to continue moving forward and having this as the base for our work here together with Texas Children in Nature Network Austin. So Sarah, I'll pass it back to you. Maybe we'll have an update about the form status.
The form is working now. So thank you everyone for being patient. We have probably about 20 minutes left of our meeting today. And so first I wanted to just give anyone who has any questions about the summit. We have a time for maybe 1 or 2 questions if anyone has any, if you weren't able to attend. Okay, the silence is deafening. I just want to do one reminder before we start doing partner share outs. One reminder, I'm going to put the link to the sign-in sheet one last time in the chat. So if you haven't signed in yet, please do so. I feel like that's always the challenge of virtual meetings. You can't accost people at the door with a sign-in sheet. So we'll do that. And then one big announcement for Texas Children in Nature Network, and then I will pass it on to everyone else, is we are actually hiring. So we have 3 health and nature liaisons that we are currently hiring for. Unfortunately, it's not in Austin. It's in Houston, DFW, and the Rio Grande Valley. But if you know of anyone in those regions who might be really excited to look at barriers to nature access and then using nature as a public health strategy, and working for Texas Children in Nature Network, please let them know. I'll put the link to that job description in the chat. But now I'm just going to open the floor to anyone who has any announcements. Anne.
Thanks. I actually don't know how to unraise my hand. Let me see. I just wanted to share briefly about the Cities Connecting Children to Nature Green School Park Initiative. We are definitely interested in re-engaging with our program partners. For those of you that are new, I'll give a little background to Green School Parks. The Austin Independent School District, in collaboration with the Parks and Rec Department, with the City of Austin, and then many community partners, have installed a Green School Park at both Barrington and Wooldridge Elementary School. Plans will be in the works to do so at Sanchez Elementary. And over the last couple of years, we took a step back and did a really thorough assessment of what Green Schoolyard features all of our joint use sites have, so that we can work on supporting all of those joint use sites, and are just now about to roll out a Green School Park designation form so that any campus in AISD that has a green schoolyard that is open and activated during out of school hours can also qualify as a Green School Park. And we would love to have you all join us for those meetings and to think about if you are directly providing program support to campuses, how can you help us in supporting our Green School Park schools? And our next meeting is on February 10th from 9:30 to 11. And if you're interested in joining those, please feel free to drop your email or just a note in the chat, and we'll add you to that email list. We also have set aside the beginning of those meetings for principal Q&A. So we have principals that are regularly coming from the joint use sites. So if you're dying for principal interaction, they actually are coming and asking questions and problem solving, which is really great. So we invite you. And then last district plug, we're desperate for subs. So if any of you are just like really feeling like you have plenty of time to be a substitute teacher, I would encourage you to do that. And subs can, in fact, take their classes outside for outdoor learning.
Thank you, Anne. We have lots of hands up, and so I'm actually just going to go in the order that they're showing in my participants window. So I'm sorry if your hand has been up longer than others. But my first one that I see is Cindy.
Everybody, I'm Cindy Jimenez with the Guadalupe Blanco River Authority, and I just wanted to let y'all know we have a site over, I'm not really in the Austin area, but close. Anyway, we have a site over at Canyon Lake. It's called the Canyon Lake Gorge, and we've been offering tours out there since 2007. And recently, in the last few months, we've opened up another series of trails that are up above the gorge, maybe for people who aren't quite physically able to go down into the gorge. So I just wanted to let everybody know that that's a possibility for you, your friends and neighbors. And if y'all ever put together big blasts about what's going on out in the world of nature, we'd be happy to be a part of that. Thank you.
Wonderful, Cindy. I'll have to hit you up for our next newsletter. Next up, we have Rosalie.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rosalie. I'm from the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center, and I just wanted to let you guys know we have been approved to host in-person camp this summer. We had to take 2 years off. We weren't able to do that. And with that being said, we're looking forward to hosting more outdoor activities for our youth. In addition to camp, we are going to do an in-person nature night this year that's held every Thursday in June. So if it's a free program open to the public, so if any of you guys want to come and participate in nature nights, you can reach out to us at education@wildflower.org and let us know you want to participate, and Julie Graham will get back with you. I will be hiring summer camp counselors. I'm really concerned I'm not going to get enough applicants, so I'll be sending that job announcement out to all of you, and hopefully you can help me find some good candidates. In addition to hiring camp counselors this summer, we have been given some endowments and some grants to pay some interns $5,000 to come and learn with us at the Wildflower Center and participate in our programs this summer. So those announcements will be on our website soon, but if you know a young person, university level, who's interested in learning, experiential learning with us, let us know. Another thing, I do host outdoor birthday parties. Hasn't been a big deal until everybody in Austin wants an outdoor birthday party for their youth. And my door is being knocked down with requests, and I do not have enough staff to host all the parties that people want to host. And it's an awesome loose parts free play type party, as well as educational environmental learning. So if you know a young person, or even you want to come out and work, it's only on weekends. It's intermediate part-time work. It does pay $15 an hour. Woohoo! So let me know. I can certainly get you guys on the schedule and start supporting these youth who need to be outside. And also, one last thing, Jennifer, if you want to do some programs at the Wildflower Center, let me know. I do youth and family programs, and the sky's the limit, except for we can't do canoeing and things like that. I don't have a river that's wet all the time. And when it is wet, you don't want to be on it. So let me know, reach out. Again, I'm Rosalie Kelly at the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. You can reach me at education@wildflower.org or my other email, and I'll put that in the chat. And that's all I have. Any questions for me?
We have one in the chat with how many hours are needed from the interns?
It will depend on the type of internships. We have a Shrek internship, and we're writing the job requirements for that now. And then we have a Schubert matched by the College of Natural Science, and those two interns may have to be University of Texas students. And then I have been given some funding to hire a few people from Breakthrough Future Focus, and then we have other internships, usually a minimum of 160 up to 200 hours. We will work with the candidate based on what they're doing for school, and we're very flexible and adaptable on the internships.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rosalie. And I will lower your hand for you. Oh, you already did it. Okay, next up we have Maria.
Hi, thank you. So we are, the National Wildlife Federation is hiring, and this is actually not a position in Austin either, but I know many of you are well connected to other cities in the environmental movement in general. This position is for a position in Houston. We are hiring a Resilience in Schools coordinator to join our South Central education team. And the aim of this position will be to improve both wildlife and human health, as well as climate resiliency on campuses and in communities. And they will do this primarily through our pre-K through 12 education programs, including EcoSchools USA, Schoolyard Habitats, and our Student Resilience Ambassadors program. So I would really appreciate it if you would spread the word about that opportunity. We are also hiring a position, an internship position in Austin to help us with our social media outreach, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And this position will also help coordinating events and professional development workshops. So thank you.
Thank you, Maria. And next up, I have Lauren.
Hey, let's see. We have two opportunities to work with Peas. One is a big one, and I really would like help getting the word out there about this one. We are hiring a director of development, hopefully, or even someone in the interim with fundraising experience to help us through a couple of our spring campaigns and an on the ground, hopefully outdoor, I mean, definitely outdoor, hopefully on the ground fundraiser this spring. I'm going to drop some stuff in the chat. We also have a paid food justice internship that just opened up. We're going to be accepting applications for, and there are applications coming in from some really, it looks like there are going to be some good candidates. So other people who are looking for interns, I might be able to send some people your way. If you're having a hard time, email me. I'm going to go ahead and put my email in the chat also. And lastly, we have our spring break camp coming up. It's a Nature's Explorers. It's going to be outdoor camp on one of our school campuses. We do have a kitchen classroom there. So if we're in a lower stage, we'll get to be in the kitchen classroom as well. But it should be a fun experience. For a small group of campers, we're going to have about 16 campers to keep it really COVID safe. But if anybody is looking for their own child or for, you know, for sharing it with someone, please send them our way. All the links are in there.
Thank you. Thank you, Lauren. And I will say there has been quite a bit of chatter about having a shared space. And we actually, I just posted this yesterday. So y'all are faster than the game. So anyone who is officially signed on as a partner of Texas Children in Nature Network, one of your perks is I am putting your job postings on our website. And so I put the link in the chat. But next I'm gonna hand it over to Chad.
Hello, I'm Chad Timmons. I'm a conservation education specialist with the Texas Wildlife Association. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about a new program that we're standing up at TWA called Land, Water, and Wildlife Expeditions. We're modeling this new program after our youth hunting program, which we've had for several years, and it's been very, very successful. The only difference is this program will be completely non-consumptive. And so we'll take youth and a parent or guardian. So the youth, we're targeting ages 11 through 17 to get them on private property for a 1 to 3 day expedition experience where they can have themed experiences such as ornithology and birding, water ecology and angler education, photography and nature, and kind of rope families into the world of conservation. There's a lot of organizations that are doing really great work on public land. And so we wanted to use our connections with private landowners to kind of expand opportunities for families. So if you have any interest in partnering with us, we would love to work with any of y'all. Or if you have any interest in signing up for our first mentor training, which our mentor and volunteer network are going to be the groups that are running these expedition experiences. And so I'll be sure to put my contact information in the chat and would love to talk to any of y'all about this.
Thank you so much, Chad. And next up, I've got Jennifer.
Hello, everybody. So I am putting up our meetup page link in the chat for NEO. So NEO, we do have a meetup page. It's free to join us and you'll start getting invitations to different opportunities that we have. We actually started kind of diving into our Austin chapter right as COVID hit. So we're not doing as many things here as we are in like our Houston chapter right now, just because it was already well established. Right now, though, we have a lot of programming in our urban learning garden that we have at Sunshine Community Gardens. So if you're interested in learning about growing food, learning about how to help out in areas that have food insecurity issues, we also have a certified monarch way station at that garden, and we put a certified monarch way station in every garden that we're associated with. So we do a lot of pollinator education, conservation. We also teach classes at the garden, like outdoor cooking classes and things like that. At any rate, you can sign up for that. We also, I mentioned that we do on-campus camping, and we have one coming up at a school in San Antonio. It's been postponed a couple of times for various reasons, but the final date is now March 25th through March 26th. It's a Friday afternoon through a Saturday morning. So if anybody is interested in that, I have that up in the chat as well, and you can see how we do those on-campus camping events.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Next up, I have Sheridan.
Hi, everybody. Sheridan Ray here. I'm just going to be speaking for the CCCN Youth Leadership Working Group, and we're going to have our second session on equitable hiring next Friday. And Kirsten's another quad chair, and she's going to be putting the Zoom info in the chat. And everybody here is invited.
Thank you so much. And then we have Kathleen.
Good morning, everyone. Kathleen Schneeman with Explore Austin. Really, I have not met many of you still, so nice to meet you all. I started with Explore in January 2020. So, and just from our history, we've not been super engaged here, which, what a mistake. So just happy to be here and meet you all. Wanted to let you know, so I'm working on our training plan for the year, and we have 100 mentors and about 50 staff members between full-time and part-time. So some of those trainings, they're almost all going to be online, and I wanted to offer up to just share them across the board. So some of the things we'll be doing is working with ADL and Creative Action. They have a training called How to Intervene When Youth Use Hurtful Comments or Racial Slurs. I don't know if any of you have already participated in that training, but it is great. It's about an hour and a half. So I'm organizing that with them to offer up for our community 1 or 2 times throughout the spring and again in the fall. And then another one we're working with Dr. Norton at Texas State on a trauma-informed similar format, about 1.5 hours. And again, this is really to help our mentors and our staff team all show up the same way, with very much an empathy-filled and youth focus, deep listening skills. So that's what that trauma-informed training is. And we'd love to share it with you all. For the most part, these trainers, we already, have it covered as far as paying for it. I fundraise for that, and they offer it up to about 100 people, and I tend to have between 30 and 40 on each call. So I'd love to have more and just spread the word on some of these just great offerings. So if anyone's interested, just email me and I'll get you on our invite list. And then a third training, and I don't know if you all know this, but I'm an SPHR by trade. And so with that, harassment training became mandatory for all of us by law last September. And that's new. It used to be only organizations 50 and up had to, by law, provide sexual harassment training. So this too, I'm working with SAFE on, and they do great training. They have a great online training. So that as well, I'm trying to get a decent price, but just a heads up, a PSA that we should all be offering that in our organizations as well for our staff teams. So that's all I got for you today. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Kathleen. And so next we have Leah.
Hey there. I figured I would join the chorus of people sharing job opportunities. The Hill Country Alliance does have a little career page on our website, and I'll send some info in the chat. But we had just posted this morning, an internship opportunity for a little bit of assistance with our education and outreach. So this will be primarily like a social media, newsletter, website focused internship at the Hill Country Alliance. I just wanted to share that with y'all too.
Thank you, Leah. And next up we have Kirsten.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see folks' faces and icons today. I just wanted to share I have a role change. I will still be doing similar work and interacting with the networks and relationships that we've all built together, but I'm an acting conservation program coordinator for Austin Civilian Conservation Corps, and I'll be working with Lawan Tucker and the city and many other partners to redevelop that program and really center equity and meaningful employment. So lots of big conversations on systems change, and I know we're all having similar conversations. So I look forward to connecting with y'all in the bit of a different hat that I will be wearing now. And please reach out if you want to connect and learn more to me as well.
Thank you so much, Kirsten. And last up, we've got Cindy.
Hey, everybody. And I just wanted to say a quick congratulations, Kirsten. I think that's a great shift. Hey, this is Cindy Clemmer. Again, I'm the Public Gardens Manager for the Parks Department. And I just in joining the chorus, there's a lot of hiring out there. And so I wanted to make note of one position that we have currently posted that will close on the 23rd. So it's only open for about 10 more days. And that's our garden center coordinator for the Zilker Botanical Garden. The title doesn't necessarily convey exactly what it is. It's basically our director of grounds and that manages all of the grounds, and our crew of staff that manages the gardens. It does get involved with programming as a liaison and logistics and things, but this is a real key position for the garden, and it is fantastic. It's a really cool job and an opportunity to sort of be the what would be called elsewhere the director of horticulture for a botanical garden right here in Austin. And then we also have two other positions that we're filling on a temporary basis. One is our rentals position, which is full-time, and the other is the programs position, which is 3/4 time. The hours could be flexible on a temporary basis though. So it's a nice opportunity if someone has a few months that they're looking for some filler work. But it's kind of fun doing either rentals or programming. It's very creative. And I will send links or a mention for all of those. But if y'all know of anybody that is interested, I'm just trying to kind of get the word out so that we have a strong pool of candidates, in particular for the garden center coordinator. And then there's lots of project work on the other ones that could just be done on a temporary basis, but they're really fun roles.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. So glad that you were able to join us this morning. I will give you a quick update on the voting. I kind of feel like I'm one of those CNN commentators that says, like, right now the polling is showing that we are at this place. Right now we are unanimous for all three of our tri-chairs. And so I will send out the link along with the recording and allow folks that are watching the recording to vote. But right now, just so you know, it is a runaway election with all three winning the election. So thank you so much, everyone. I am so thankful for all of you that are tri-chairs and now at large board leadership. I will be touching base as we kind of transition to you all running these meetings, and we'll get started on that. But thank you, everyone, and have a fantastic rest of your day.